You're watching TAG TV.
Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Tuesday, the 27th of March. GIT head records statement in corruption case against Pakistan's ousted Premier Sharif. Taliban likely to increase the suicide attacks in Afghanistan, says General John Nicholson. India and China, key allies, says Nepalese Prime Minister Oni. And now for all the details. The Election Commission of India on Tuesday announced that southern Karnataka province will go to polls in one phase on this 12th of May. Announcing the schedule in New Delhi, Chief Election Commissioner Om Prakash Rawat said accessible elections will be the theme of the 224-member Karnataka Assembly polls, where more than 40 million people are eligible to vote. Both India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP and opposition Congress have already stepped up the campaign in the province, one of the three where the Congress is still in power and the BJP is pushing for a comeback ahead of the 2019 general elections. For the Congress, this is almost an existential battle. The party is reduced to power in only three provinces: Punjab, Mizoram and Karnataka. Karnataka is important to the BJP not only because it will take to 21 the number of provinces where the party is in power, and also because it will be its gateway to the south, which is vital to its poll calculations for the general election. The Janata Dal Secular, led by former Prime Minister Deve Gowda, is the third party in the fray. And in news from Pakistan, former Panama Papers case Joint Investigation Team or JIT head Wajid Zia on Tuesday recorded his statement and submitted several documents in even-field corruption reference against Pakistan's ousted Premier Nawaz Sharif and his family. An accountability court has been hearing 3 corruption references against Sharif and his family for owning assets beyond known sources of income. The references were filed by the National Accountability Bureau (NAB) in light of the Supreme Court's Panama Papers case verdict last year. Zia informed the court that Sharif's eldest son, Hussain Nawaz, owned the Avonfield flats since 1993 to 1996. He also asserted that the signed documents submitted through the JIT by Sharif's children were forged. The hearing was later adjourned until Wednesday. Moving on, a Baloch political activist has alleged that with the multi-billion-dollar China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or CPEC project, the Chinese are looting the natural resources in Balochistan. The activist blamed China had military designs and not economic ones, and the day was not far when it would threaten even the West.
Baloch political activist Munir Mengal recently said it was clear that the Chinese want to loot resources of the innocent Baloch people. Baloch activists have long blamed the multi-billion-dollar China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or CPEC project, which passes through Balochistan, is an attempt to exploit their natural resources. Locals allege China and Pakistan are aiming to change the demography of the region and have been committing atrocities against the innocent Baloch people.
Chinese are on our land to loot our resources, and they are, also becoming a part to dominate. They are also becoming they have joined their hands with the Pakistan to dominate us, to loot us, to subjugate us.
Activists claim the CPEC project has only brought death and destruction for the local people instead of economic opportunities. They also blame that China, is the name of constructing the CPEC project, has been helping Pakistan in committing war crimes and genocide in Balochistan, a region under illegal Pakistani occupation.
And in news from Afghanistan, the commander of U.S. forces in Afghanistan, General John Nicholson, has claimed that Taliban is likely to increase suicide attacks to prove its strong presence in the country this year. Meanwhile, the Afghan Ministry of Defense has said pressure against militant groups will continue amid efforts for peace talks.
The General John Nicholson, the commander of US forces in Afghanistan, has said that this year Taliban will not focus on taking over major towns, but instead the group will increase their suicide attacks to prove their strong presence. Nicholson said Taliban's change of tactics shows that the pressure mounted on the group by the Afghan government and the international coalition has been effective, as it has decreased their levels of motivation.
To avoid major combat,
طالبان از درگیری‌های بزرگ خودداری خواهند کرد، اما حضورشان را با حمله‌ها بر پایگاه‌های دورافتاده و همچنان حمله‌های پیچیده در شهرها نشان خواهند داد.
Afghan's Ministry of Defense has said that Afghan National Army's military operations against militancy will continue.
آمادگی‌هایی که در پلان 4 ساله داشتین و دارین، اونها را ما در میدان محاربه به استعمال می‌گیریم. ان شاء الله سال آینده، یعنی همین سالی که روان است، سال بهتری نسبت به سال گذشته خواهد.
Meanwhile, a number of defense experts and lawmakers have raised concerns over a possible surge in security threats in the country. The US forces have said that this year social, religious and military pressure will be doubled against the Taliban.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on Monday said India and China are an essential part of the Himalayan nation's foreign policy and it has its neighbourhood on its priority list. Oli made the remarks while addressing an event organised to launch a book on Nepal-China relations.
Nepalese Premier KP Sharma Oli on Monday said India and China are an essential part of Nepal's foreign policy and its priorities begin from its neighbourhood. Oli made the remarks while speaking at an event in Kathmandu city after releasing a book on Nepal-China relations. Premier Oli during the event also added relations with all the friendly nations would be based on equality. He said the policy is of friendship and hence it cannot be unequal and unbalanced. Oli was sworn in as the Prime Minister of Federal Nepal in February this year and since then is expected to boost the nation's ties with India and China. Nepal has been embroiled in political instability since a decade-long Maoist conflict ended in 2006 and the monarchy was abolished 2 years later. Oli, who is the 26th Prime Minister since protests led to the establishment of a parliamentary democracy in 1990, had earlier said he will promote peace, stability and development in the Himalayan nation.
Fishermen in India's southern Rameswaram city on Monday announced an indefinite strike to demand the release of their boats and Indian fishermen in Sri Lankan prisons. Fishermen from both India and Sri Lanka often land up in jails on the charges of alleged poaching in each other's territorial waters.
Fishermen in India's southern Rameswaram city on Monday announced they would go on a strike to demand release of their boats and Indian fishermen languishing in Sri Lankan prisons on charges of allegedly poaching in Lanka's territorial waters. India shares an expansive oceanic border with Sri Lanka without any perceptible demarcation and fishermen on both sides ignore the rules while netting their catch. Members of the fishermen community gathered to discuss the matter and seek intervention of Indian government in resolving the issue. The community has decided to begin an indefinite strike from March 31st for their demands.
சிறைப்பிடிக்கப்பட்டு 184 படகு தினசரி உடைஞ்சிக்கிட்டு இருக்கு, சேதமாகிக்கிட்டு இருக்கு. மத்திய மாநில அரசாங்கம் பெரிய பெரிய தலானியை வச்சு தூங்கிட்டு இருக்காங்க, எந்த விதமான நடவடிக்கையும் எடுக்கல. மத்திய மாநில அரசோட கவனத்தை திருப்பணும்ங்கற ஒரு நோக்கத்தோடையும் இலங்கை சிறையில் இருக்கக்கூடிய மீனவர்கள் தினசரி நோய்வாய்ப்பட்டு உடம்பு ஊரா பொத்து புண்ணு வடிஞ்சிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிற நிலைமையில அவங்க கஷ்டப்பட்டுக்கிட்டு இருக்காங்க. அவங்களை விடுவிக்க சொல்லியும் நாங்க ஒரு கூட்டம் போட்டு இன்னைக்கு ஒரு தீர்மானம் நிறைவேற்றிருக்கோம். அந்த தீர்மானத்தின் அடிப்படையில் வர 31ஆம் தேதி சனிக்கிழமை அன்னையிலிருந்து வேலை நிறுத்தம் ஆரம்பிச்சு அன்னைக்கு
Sri Lanka has long fumed over poaching and illegal fishing by Indian fishermen that it says depletes the catch of its own fishermen. Fishermen from both countries frequently stray into each other's territory and end up spending years in jails. The UN Convention on the Law of the Sea states that fishermen who cross territorial waters can be warned and fined but not arrested.
Authorities of Kaziranga National Park, located in India's northeastern Assam province, have begun a 2-day census for the endangered one-horned rhinoceros. The species has been declared vulnerable to endangerment by the International Union for Conservation of Nature.
Authorities in Kaziranga National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in India's northeastern Assam province, began a two-day census of the famed one-horned rhinoceros on Monday. Many rhinos were killed last year as the national park, home to two-thirds of the world's dwindling population of these thick-skinned animals, was inundated. The Assamese government has taken major steps towards Indian rhinoceros conservation, especially with the help of the Worldwide Fund for Nature, or WWF, and other non-governmental organizations.
We are doing 36 blocks today, and tomorrow we'll be doing another 38 blocks. So in total 74 blocks in 2 days, and on the third day we are doing a sample count in 16 blocks. So this would be the entire process, and on the third day the tabulation will be done and the final results will be able to get it after tabulation.
Spread over 166 square miles, Kaziranga National Park is a remarkable success story of conservation of the endangered one-horned Indian rhinoceros and other wildlife.
In a simple yet unique wedding, more than 80 couples tied the nuptial knot at a mass marriage ceremony in India's southern Coimbatore city recently. The gesture by the government aimed at reducing financial burden on the families of the brides.
As many as 86 couples tied the knot in a mass marriage ceremony in India's southern Tamil Nadu province on Monday. The government of the province organized a ceremony for the 86 underprivileged couples in Coimbatore city on the occasion of 70th birth anniversary of late Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha. The ceremony was attended by Chief Minister E. Palanisamy and Deputy Chief O. Paneerselvam. The grand occasion saw the presence of decorated elephants at the entrance to welcome the guests. Local performers entertained the guests with drums and cymbal performances at the ceremony. The provincial government also gifted basic items like cupboards, utensils and table to the newlyweds to mark the beginning of a new life. Guests turned up in huge numbers to bless the beaming couples who dressed up in traditional attire for the occasion. Group marriages are becoming popular, especially among the financially disadvantaged section of the Indian society, as they reduce worries of monetary implications among parents.
After facing scarcity of walnut wood for a long time, the industry is now surging again in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. The increased demands and growing walnut trees have led to flourishing of the creative walnut wood furniture industry once again.
Kashmir is the valley of artisans where many arts have found their roots. One such art which remains an integral part of the valley's culture is the walnut wood carving. Artisans design and craft various products which are then sold in international and domestic markets. After facing scarcity of the raw materials, the walnut wood carving industries have once again begun to flourish after a long time in the valley due to increased demands. A variety of products are made from walnut wood, like dining tables, chairs, etc., and include a very fine work of art to make them more artistic and beautiful.
बहुत सारे इसका रिस्पॉन्ड बहुत अच्छा है अब यहाँ पे कश्मीर में. इसका लगता है मुझे कश्मीर में अब बहुत ट्रेंड चला है इस वॉलनट वुड का. पहले नहीं था लेकिन अब चला है.
Kashmir is the only part of India where walnut trees are found. Its color, grain and texture are unique, and the carving and fretwork that is done on this wood is of the finest quality.
इसमें बहुत कारीगरी है और इसमें बहुत ये शो है, डिज़ाइन है, इसमें अलग-अलग किस्म के हैं, ये नक्शगारी है, चिनार है, ग्रेप्स है, दशलीफ और पंपोश है, लोटस है. लोग तो बहुत पसंद करते हैं, हर एक ये काम पसंद करता है, हर एक, चाहे वो फॉरेनर हो या डीसी हो हिंदुस्तान का या खुद कश्मीरी हो, लोग तो बहुत पसंद करते हैं.
Walnut wood furniture has a global appeal. Wood industry of Kashmir has been brought to the international arena for intricate art of wood carving. The artisans of the valley have the required skill of making almost anything which is in demand across the globe.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.
You're watching TAG TV.